Hey guys, welcome back to the QST YouTube channel. Today we will be starting the Term 2 Week 5 AMS quiz. So for this question, it says here that the above function D models the distance in meters Jerry has to swim to reach the end of the line in a competition after swimming for T seconds. About how many meters can Jerry swim each second? 0.08. Look, because here we can see that the distance is 0.08 T plus 50. So it shows here that Jerry can move 0.08 per second or per unit time, whatever. Number 2. Alan lives in a town at an altitude of 500 feet above sea level. He drives from his home uphill a mountainous road to visit a friend. For each mile 3 drive uphill, the altitude increases by 50 feet. Build a function h that models Alan's altitude in feet to sea level after driving X miles from home. Look, so it says here, like, for every 3 meters uphill, okay, his altitude increases by 50 feet. So, which is why we put 50, like 50 feet over 3 miles. Number 3. So for this question, we need to find out the slope, the x-intercept, and the y-intercept. To find out the slope, it's always the number that's multiplied by x, which in this case is negative 2. For the x-intercept, we just substitute y by 0, and we'll get that it negative 3 equals to negative 2x, and then x will be equal to 1.5. And then for the y-intercept, we just substitute x by 0, or it will be the number added to, like, the slope times this. So for this question, we've done it many times before, like in previous AMSs and quizzes. So let's say if like the graph was like this, smooth, it would be like what we have right here, x plus 3 times x squared plus 9. But if it were like this, like this ish, okay, we would it would be the first option. Number 5. So now we need to find the slope of this line. First of all, to find the slope, we need to get 2 points, which in this case will be 0, 4, and 5, 0. Okay, and then we'll get the slope to be negative 4 over 5. Then after we get the slope to be y equals to negative 5 over 4x plus b, b is always the number, is like the value of y in which the line intercepts the y-axis. Like, so instead of b, it will be 5. And now here they want like x and y to be on the same side. So we can get 5 over 4x plus y equals to 5. But over here they want like b, which is 5, to be equal to 20. And how do we get that? We multiply the entire equation by 4. So it will become 5x plus 4y is equal to 20. Next question. Number 6. A linear function f is defined such that f of x, which is y, decreases by 8 units for every 4 units increase. So we're gonna find the slope, which is by doing the change in x divided by the change in y. And here, as they said, the y decreases by 8, negative, like the y decreases by 8, which is why we put negative 8. And then, like, it increases, the x increases by 4. So we get the slope to be negative 2. And then, like, the y-intercept, as we said before, is always the number that's added to like, the coefficient times x. So we have negative 2x plus 200 or 200 minus 2x. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. Number 7. For this question, there is a really easy way to solve it. So like here, as we can see, like from a to a plus 15, we did minus 12. Okay? Right. Okay, and then, so, wait, no, we did minus 8, sorry. So from a to a plus 15, we did minus 8. And so basically, how do we go from a plus 15 to a plus 45? We multiply by 3. So that means we subtract by 24, which will give us 65 minus 24, which is equal to 41. Number 8. For this question, we're gonna have to memorize that sine inverse radical 3 over 2 is 60. And then, since radical 3 over 2 is 60, and we know that, like, in radians, we can do, like, pi is 180. So pi over 3 is 160. And then, like, sine is the angle theta, or alpha, or the supplement. So which is 120 and 60. Okay? Now 2 pi over 3 is 120 and pi over 3 is 60. Now you guys might be asking, why is 7 pi over 3 the answer? We should not forget that, like, for sine we're gonna have to do plus 360k. And, and 7 pi over 3 is 420, okay? Which means that we're gonna have, which means that it is by using 360k. Number 9. So for this question, they want the following equations that are symmetric about the origin. Okay, equations that are symmetric about the origin are always odd. So to find out if it's even or odd, we substitute x by 1 and negative 1. So let's take the first one and substitute by 1, we'll get 1 over 2. If we substitute by a negative 1, we'll get negative 1 over 2. And then for the second one, we do the same thing. It will be 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. And if we substitute by negative 1, we'll just get negative 1. And for the last one, we're just gonna do the same thing, of course. So we do 1 over 2, and then if we substitute by negative 1, we'll get a negative 1 over 2. Number 10. So to find out if the graph has is symmetric about the y-axis, the function has to be even. So that means if we substitute by 1 and negative 1, the answers will be the same. So let's take like 1 and negative 1 for the second option, which will give us 1 over 2. And if we substitute by negative 1, it will also give us 1 over 2. And then same thing here, if we substitute x by 1, it will be 1 over 2. If we substitute x by negative 1, it will be 1 over 2. Now for this question, we need to find sine squared x. We know that sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1, right? Okay, so we have cosine squared 144 over 169, and then this is equal to 169 over 169, of course. And then how do we find sine squared? So we just move uh, cosine squared to the other side and we get 25 over 169. Number 12. So for question number 12, so like we know that secant squared is equal to 1 plus tan squared. So we can substitute secant squared by 1 plus tan squared. Like I'll put tan squared as t squared minus 22t plus 20. Or you can say 21 here and then just remove it. And then from here we're gonna factor t minus 21 and t minus 1. And then we can just, like, since here they gave us that the root is tan, tan equals 1, we can remove this, and then we will just have this left. Number 13. The scatter plot below shows the average grade on a math test during a given week versus the number of hours spent watching TV during this week. Select select from the drop down. Okay. The correlation to this list is strong because as you can see, all of the dots like are forming a line, and it's negative because it's sloping downwards. So for part B, we're gonna have to find first of all the slope, which is equal to to find the slope we need 2 points. We have, okay, 20, 60, and 1290. 1290. And now if we like find the slope by doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, we get negative 30 over 8 or negative 15 over 4, which is the slope. As I said, the slope is negative 15 over 4x plus b. Okay, to find b, let's take 2 points. Again, let's take 20, 60. So 60 is equal to negative 15 over 4 times 20 plus b. Oh, as I said, okay, so 60 is equal to negative 15 over 4 times 20 plus b, and then we get that it will be equal to, b is equal to 135. Now that we now that we have the equation y equals to negative 15 over 4x plus 135, okay, now they want the this part negative 15 over 4x to be on the other side. So let's let's write it. 15 over 4x plus y equals to 135. Now, like as we can see from what they gave us, they want the coefficient of y to be 4. So then we just do 4y, then we just multiply the entire equation by 4, which means we do 135 times 4, which is equal to 140. Okay, is equal to 540. Number part C. So for this part, we need to find out like the score of a person who spends 12 hours watching TV during the week. To find that, we just go to the x-axis, go to 12, and then go up, and we will find out that that their average grade will be 90. To find out the model letter, um, we need to find out where most of the points are located, which is in this case between 80 and 90. And as we can see from this table, between 80 and 90 is B. Num Number 14. Given the curve C with the equation x cubed plus 4x squared plus 10, the equation of the tangent to the curve at x equal to 2 is... Okay, now to answer this question, first of all we need to find the slope, which is the gradient. So we're gonna do 3x squared plus 8x plus 10. And now to find the slope, we'll just substitute x by 2, which means 12 plus 16 plus 10, which is equal to 28, which is the slope. And now that we have we have this equation, y equals to 28x plus b. And now to find b, we need to find 2 points, right? Okay. We need to find 1 point, sorry. And now to find the point, we need to find the y because we already have x equals to 2. So to find the y of the point that we'll use to find b, we substitute x in the original equation, which will give us 8 plus 12, right? No. 8 plus 16 plus 10, which is equal to 34. Okay, so now we just have to substitute the point 234 in the original equation. So here we have 34 and here we have 2, which makes this 56. And then we just take 56 to the other side and we find out that negative 22 is equal to b. Okay. Now we move on to the next question, which is number 15. The symmetric image about the origin of the point negative 6, negative 8 is the point 6, 8. Because when the symmetric image is about the origin, we just change the point, we just change the sign of the entire, if of both x and y, which is why we get 6 and 8. Number 16. The vertical asymptote of the graph is 10. To find the vertical asymptote, we just take whatever is in the denominator equal to 0, and like that we'll just get 10. Number 17. Consider the graph of y equals to 8x plus 120 over 2x minus 4. The horizontal asymptote is the line y equal to 4. To find the horizontal asymptote, we just do the coefficient of x up, which is equal to 8, over the coefficient of x down, which is equal to 2, which will give us 4. And as we said in the last question, to find the vertical asymptote, we just make the denominator equal to 0, which will give us x equal to 2. Now to find the y-intercept, we just substitute x by 0. So we're gonna have 120 over negative 4, which will give us 30. Negative 30. And now to find out where the graph crosses the x-axis, we just substitute y by 0. So we do, and then 0 equals to 8x plus 120 over 2x minus 4. Then we just cross multiply and we get 8x plus 120 is equal to 0, and then we'll get that x is equal to negative 15. Number 18. The symmetric image about the y-axis of the point negative 6, negative 8 is the point P prime. To find the symmetric image about the y-axis, we just change the sign of the x. Unlike what we did in the last time we did this when it was symmetric about the origin. So that will give us 6 negative 8. Number 19. Below is the graph of the function y equals, okay. What is the positive root of f of x equal to 0? What they mean here is we need to draw a line, but which I cannot do right now, of f of x equal to 0. As we know, f of x is y. So basically what they're trying to tell us is like find the roots of when it intersects at the x-axis. And the positive root, like if we draw a line, is 4. And then the negative root, same thing, we just draw a line on the x-axis and we get that the negative root is negative 3. Number 20. This is, we do the exact same thing we did last question to this question. So the smallest root of f of x equal to 100 means we need to draw a line at a horizontal line at y equals to 100. Okay, and then the smallest root if we draw the line we'll find out is equal to negative x. We need to find the x, and then after we draw the line the x will be negative 3, like the smallest root is negative 3. The middle root means like, how can I say it? Uh, 21. The two decimal places, what is the value of cosine if sine is equal to the radical 17 over 10? Okay, now as we said before, so cosine squared plus sine squared is equal to 1. So that means sine squared is 17 over 100. And then cosine squared would be 83 over 100. But the only reason we put it negative is because, like we said before, that cosine is like the opposite of the angle, and the angle is 0.83. Okay, so for this question, we've done something similar to it before, and we know that 1 plus sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1, which means sine squared minus 1 is equal to negative cosine squared. So, now that we know that sine squared minus 1 is negative cosine squared, we're just gonna substitute from here. So, 1 plus sine, which will be s, okay, 1 plus s is equal to s minus 1. So now if we take everything to the other side, s minus s minus 2. So now after we factor, we can tell that sine plus sine minus 2, 1, and then this is how we get k is equal to 2. Given sine x is equal to 3 over 5, what is the value of k in this fraction? So, as we've said many times before, sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1, okay? So 9 over 25, because we square 3 over 5, plus x is equal to 1. Then if we change sides, okay, we'll get that 25 over 25 minus 9 over 25 is equal to cosine squared. And like that we'll get that k is 16. 24. It's nearly the exact same thing we did in the last question. Like last question I said sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1. Cosine squared is 144 over 169. Okay. And then I said like if you derive the rule, we find out that sine squared is 1 minus cosine squared. So we do 169 over 169, which is equal to 1, minus this, which will give us 25 over 169. Number 25. We know that 1 plus tan squared, which I'll be calling t, is equal to secant squared. So 1 plus 49 over 25 is equal to secant squared, and then after that we'll just 25 of 25 is 49. 25 is equal to secant squared, which will give us 74 over 4, 74 over 25. Okay, number 26. So first of all, to find the answer to this question, we need to find cosine squared first. And then since they gave us sine squared, all we need to do is 1 minus sine squared, which will give us 5 over 8, times 160 because they said here 160 times cosine squared, which will give us 100. Last last question. Based on the line of the best fit, what exam score is expected for a student who studies for 7 hours? So basically for this question, we just go to the x-axis and find 7, which is between 6 and 8, and then we go up to find the y, and we will find out that y will be like exactly in the middle between 80 and 96, which will give us 88. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I wish you guys the best of luck in your exams, and thank you for your time. Goodbye.